Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the channel. Now, as of about 5 minutes ago, there was a 3.5 hour deliberation of the AFL and St Kilda side of things for the suspension of Jack Higgins for 3 games after tackling Aliir. If you've been living under a rock and don't know what I'm talking about, here is the clip.
That's one they're trying to bring in to protect. Hitting of the arm, forcing and pulling him down.
He looks a bit. He might have to come off Aliir for an assessment.
Right, so that was given 3 weeks, okay? Then also, you can say that they deserve to appeal it. They appealed it. Now, I'm going to literally go through some examples of what the AFL said and what St Kilda's representative, Adrian Anderson, said. And then I'm going to go through some other examples I gave, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. Which, if you didn't know already, 3 weeks was a joke. But somehow, the decision has remained. Now, the AFL aren't the only ones in the firing line here. St Kilda are as well, for a few things they said that cost them the chance of getting put to 0 or less than 3. And here's how we're going to start in the order of how it went. So, first of all, before I even get to that, I told you from the start that Aliir contributed to the tackle. A lot of people are pissed off about this. The AFL has gotten weak after week. They've gotten weaker. This year, like last year and the previous few years, they've been bad. And like it'd been noticeable then. But this year, just beyond ridiculous. With all these suspensions, you can tackle players and get a life sentence basically from the AFL. And you can punch someone in the face and it's all good. Or you can punch someone in the gut and you just get away with it. Or you can tap them in the gut. A few years ago, they were saying about they're going to stamp out the gut punches and everything like that. Apparently not. Jesse Hogan just punched Lewis Young in the face last week, or in the chin, whatever. Same thing, the action of him trying to punch someone. He tried. He had a week, they got let off. Ridiculous. And then here we are with tackles, and you're getting weeks. Sometimes 1, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. It's embarrassing. Ridiculous. And not only myself, but a lot of people had enough. The inconsistencies of the AFL is ridiculous. Their reasonings change for everyone. So which is going to make me backtrack to what Laura Kane said, that they said only a few weeks ago that they don't have one set of rules for one and not the other. Well, that's a lie, because Charlie Cameron got off only 2 rounds ago because he's, and I quote, a good bloke. That's what they said. And that got him off. That was literally the sole reason he got off. So why didn't Tom Barrass get off, like I said then? And now this Jack Higgins one. Is he not a good bloke? Because he didn't get off. That's how it's meant to roll. And that's not how they've rolled. Now, I think it should have been nothing. But if it was 1, I'd understand partially because he was concussed, albeit Aliir contributed to it. So that's on him. You can't just solely blame the player tackling in that case when Aliir could have contributed to that to not happen by not kicking the ball like that or jumping up to kick it. Now, it's ridiculous. The comments on the AFL's pages when they gave Higgins that suspension was a lot in Jack Higgins' favour. And tonight, this was only recorded, the only result only came out about 10-15 minutes ago. So there's not many comments as of right this second when I looked. But the ones I did see are calling the AFL a joke, inconsistencies, and I'm going to read a few of them out as well at some point. Now, this is what the AFL said. I've come with the receipts. Just remember that. And I've already mentioned a few as well. Okay, so how it started was this. So St Kilda's representative, Adrian Anderson, said this. Says, under exceptional and compelling circumstances, it should be a 2-match ban rather than 3. A 3-match sanction is not right. It's not appropriate in this situation. It's an unusual case where something has happened which makes the sanction higher than what it should be, primarily because of the unusual action in the tackle of Aliir. And Anderson notes that Higgins has played 109 games without being suspended or fined. Okay. And, right, so that's St Kilda side of things, okay? Now, I would have a go at St Kilda here for two things. One, throughout this entire tribunal hearing, they did not once mention the words, he is a good bloke. Now, they mentioned here about the how many games he played not being suspended before. But why didn't you not say he's a good bloke? Yeah, you kind of hinted at it a little bit, but say the words, he is a good bloke. Because that's the words that got Charlie Cameron off. So that one fault is at St Kilda for not saying the words, he's a good bloke. Two, why did you self-admit that you'll cop two? That's stupid. Because then you gave the AFL leverage. You go, good, we don't have to give him one. We don't have to give him none. So that's not happening. The moment they said that, that's the moment that wasn't happening. So that was dumb. Now, were they trying to say two only because they knew the AFL wouldn't give them zero and they wanted to, get it down, but it's a bit more what they would deem realistic? I think they should have said zero. Because then when they said two, they basically said it's, suspendable, which they shouldn't have said. Because that's the whole reason you appealed it, didn't you? And then the AFL, some dribble, they spoke here. Nick Payne was the AFL representative, and he said the onus is on Higgins to execute a safe tackle. By pinning Aliir's arm and rotating him, you place him in a vulnerable position. It's a foreseeable the player may try to dispose of the ball by kicking, and that may alter his balance. Says the AFL then say Higgins began to execute a rotating tackle before Aliir attempted to kick the ball. In other words, Higgins initiated a dangerous tackle and placed Aliir in a vulnerable position. Bullshit. Aliir contributed. Admit that in this moment, we're talking about the timeline here, you have not admitted that Aliir contributed to this tackle. If he didn't try and kick the ball, this doesn't happen. Higgins is on the ground. You saw in the footage when he tackled him, he was on the ground. The guy is 20-odd kilos lighter than Aliir. I'm impressed that he got to tackle him while being on the ground at a guy at that height. Yeah, the AFL are a joke. And this one, in their decision to suspend Jack Higgins and remain at 3 weeks, this key quote out of this long rubbish statement really struck out to me. They said this, and I quote, this is after they've said staying at 3 weeks. They said, we agree that Aliir's movement in attempting to kick the ball contributed to his momentum in coming to the ground. We also have regard to the evidence of Dr. Bain, which was the Saints doctor type person that they had in this debate. So hang on a minute. So first off, you say that Aliir contributed to it. But earlier on, in your whole bullshit reasons, you didn't even say that. Again, inconsistencies. Why don't you? You said nowhere in your in verdict deliberation that you said Aliir didn't contribute. You said Higgins did. And now after it, you're saying Higgins did. Inconsistencies, again, it's at its finest. I mean, there's not much more I can add to this to say it other than it's a joke. I mean, I guarantee you, if that was one of the AFL's favourite players or clubs, we're not talking about 3 weeks. We might be maybe at best talking about 1. So you admit that Aliir contributed to the tackle in your final statement, okay? But earlier on, you kept blaming Higgins for the whole thing. Yet in your final comment, you say that. Inconsistencies at its finest. It is a joke. And I've had enough of this crap from the AFL. The AFL are a joke. They always have been a joke, and now a lot more people are finding out they are a joke. Now, I want to read you a few comments here from a few people on the AFL's Instagram post. The tribunal are a joke, absolute disgrace. And these 2 most relevant comments that I've read in the first 10 minutes of that post, because obviously now I'm recording, were these 2 comments that really struck out to me. And really, the AFL, these 2 individuals have more brain cells than the AFL people combined have. So one person says he was bringing Aliir down at a safe angle until Aliir jumped to kick. Even letting him go, Aliir would have driven himself into the ground. Madness. Absolutely. Absolutely right. if he lets go, the same thing could happen and probably does happen. So who are you going to blame then if you let go of him? You're going to blame the ghost? Like, just pathetic. And this one really sums up the AFL to a T. This person says, and I quote, "Watch this 100 times over. Have got no idea what else Higgins could have done. Aliir had an arm free, made no attempt to protect himself, and instead overextended himself in trying to kick the ball. 3 weeks for this, but there's no issue whacking someone in the face off the ball. Tribunal is generally a farce." Well done to that person that said that. That's exactly what I've been saying this entire time. The AFL are a joke. You can punch someone, but you can't tackle someone. Tackling has been something in this game that's always existed. Now, people keep telling me, "Oh, the game's changing." We know it's changing because now you can't do anything. You won't be able to tackle soon. And also, you say about all these things in the rule. What should Higgins have done? Tell me what Jack Higgins should have done. You can't tell me because you know what he did is what most would have done. Would Patrick Dangerfield get off with this? Would Patrick Dangerfield get 3 weeks for this? Would Scott Pendlebury get 3 weeks for this? No, that's right. Pendlebury punched someone in the guts recently and got off. Interesting. Dangerfield, Liam Stocker round 1. Took his legs out. He got the 3. How many times do you see certain players get protected? But Laura Kane again is going to keep telling us that no one gets protected. This decision is ridiculous. And I'm not saying this because it's the Saints one. I've said it for this one. I've said it for Tom Barrass's one. I've said it for Toby Green's one last week. I've said it for Riley West's one this week. It was ridiculous. And many more examples that I've said throughout the year. This is not worth 3 weeks. This should be 0. Zilch. 0. If you had it at 1, I wouldn't it be as pissed, but I'd still be disappointed because what else was Higgins meant to do? Finally, let me repeat the words, part of their final statement, the AFL's final statement. We agree that Aliir's movement in attempting to kick the ball contributed to his momentum in coming to ground. We also have regard to the evidence of Dr. Bain. Key words there. We agree that Aliir's movement in attempting to kick the ball contributed to his momentum in coming to the ground. So how the hell can you spill all that shit beforehand and then with your last and final words, you say that? Tell me how that makes sense. You can't. The AFL are a joke. We all know it. And I'm loving that the commentary always roast them because that's what they deserve when they play favourites and they pick and choose who they want to suspend and make statements out of. Guarantee if this was a Geelong player or if this was a big name player in the competition that the AFL love, this is not happening. And my point's proven. Pendlebury punches someone, nothing. Hogan punches someone, nothing. Paddy Cripps recently, in the last few years, won a Brownlow that he shouldn't have won when he should have got suspended. Dangerfield over time, protected. Joel Selwood, when he was playing over time, protected. It's a common trend. It's something the AFL won't stop doing. And one more time, the AFL are a joke. Thank you for watching. Let me know your real thoughts down below. Ridiculous. The AFL are a joke. So before we go, I want to add one more thing. The St Kilda have accepted the AFL's decision. They're not going to appeal it, they said. They respect the decision. Why respect rubbish decisions? This is another reason why I keep saying that St Kilda should stop accepting crap. Make a stand. Other clubs went to the appeals board in the past, so why the hell are you not doing it? Come on, make a stand not only for St Kilda fans, make a stand for this competition, because this competition is dead right now. Everyone's getting suspended for nothing. You need to make a change and make sure that people don't get suspended for things they don't deserve to be suspended for, especially at the length that they've given it. I know the times are different, but quite frankly, this is not worth 3 weeks.